Hey everybody, it is your girl, Lady T, and we are back with another amazing season of Lady T. Let's talk about it. The pandemic has and continues to stop a lot of things, but not Lady T. Let's talk about it. As a reminder, my name is Tandela Lomax, also known as Lady T, and the host of this awesome show. However, I am nothing without my team and also my amazing panelists. Tonight, we got a couple guys, a couple girls, and you already know we got to get into the conversation of relationships. So, to introduce my panel, I will bring them up. We have DeSavian holding it down for the guys at the top. We have Savannah, who is also rejoining us for another season. We have Jasmine, and we also have Jordan. He coming, okay? So, I at the end of the show, I'm gonna do a poll, okay? Because oftentimes during the episodes, we have people who the people in the comments, they kind of gravitate to. You know what I mean? So season 1, I think it was Dijon, also known as Sensei. Everybody thinks Courtney is one of the funniest ones. They thought Miles was the lover boy who they know will fly to his woman. So I'm going to do a poll at the end. I kind of had a conversation and was like, are the guys going to be more toxic or the girls? So we going to see what's happening. Already, Courtney is in the comments, and she knows what's about to happen. It's about to get spicy, okay? Because we are talking relationships. So, without further ado, guys, I'm Lady T, and let's talk about it. So first, I want to do a pulse check. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing relationship-wise?
Anyone want to go first?
You can go ahead.
Well,
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We're learning, I will say. So my 2-year anniversary is coming up next weekend.
Like dating or married? The people don't know.
Married.
Okay.
I've been married for almost 2 years now. It'll be next weekend on the
Exciting.
19th. So we are doing good. And we're learning, like I said. It's a lot of things that we gotta get used to and are getting used to, but we're learning and growing.
Okay. DeSavian, what about you? How is dating in the pandemic?
It's very interesting to say the least, but right now I'm just dating. I'm learning new ways of communicating. I'm learning new ways of understanding another human being. So it's definitely interesting, but right now we're just in the dating phase. Not there yet.
Okay. Savannah. And we've talked about it. Let me know what's going on.
okay. So dating for me during COVID is not a thing. I'm holding down the singles over here. Let me tell you.
Listen, you ain't holding it down alone, okay? It's hard, okay? But we got DeSavian. Are you actively dating, or are we just out there?
No, I'm actively dating.
Okay. And Jasmine, you talked about learning each other. So
Yeah.
for the married people, right? What does learning each other look like? Like, y'all are already together. What does learning each other during a pandemic look like?
Okay, so before I start, I didn't know you were actually talking about during the pandemic. A lot of people said, oh, the pandemic was really hard. I greatly benefited from the pandemic. Being home, I think it was the jump from like, boom, you become a wife, and what does that role look like for you? And I had to adapt to that in my own way. So the pandemic helped out a lot. But what does it look like? It looks like a lot of patience, a lot of communication, a lot of you're gonna argue, a lot of like, oh, you like that? Oh, okay, all right. And you just kind of like gotta let that person be that person.
Okay.
It's a little fun though, as well.
Okay. We got fun. DeSavian, what does actively dating during the pandemic look like for a man? I know what it's like for a woman, but what on the guy's side? Thinking about when the pandemic first started to now, how we're kind of opened up. So, what does that look like?
Well, I would say at the beginning of the pandemic, it was very difficult. You have to get very creative. You have to be very open-minded to the things that you want to do. And you have to be very intentional as well. Like, I would say that like, in the beginning, it was like, let's set up a virtual, like, let's watch a movie, and then we have to figure out how we're going to watch the movie because, like, your screen and my screen, we're going to pay 2 times, and then I don't want to hear your TV in the back. I think now, it's a little bit more easier. But it's still that scary thing of like some people don't like going out, so then you have to get very creative about, all right, so if you're not really comfortable going out in public without a mask, being around people, then let's figure out how can we do something maybe at home or maybe in a space where you feel comfortable. So it takes a lot of like, just understanding like what are you comfortable with and what are you not comfortable with, and being intentional about how you're going to meet in the middle, I guess you could say. So, interesting, I would say.
It is indeed interesting. Courtney in the comments says, it looks sketchy. They be mask fishing out here. That's true, though. That's true.
That's
you think somebody
true.
is cute from, like, here up, but, like, got busted grills or something. Like, it's hard out here. Savannah, what does actively, or maybe active or not actively dating, look like for the ladies?
Okay, so actively dating, like just hearing that makes my anxiety spike because of COVID. Like, if someone were to ask me out to like actually go out in public right now, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a no for me. So it's mainly just chatting right now, and even that, I've kind of got very bored with like online things, Tinder, etc. Yeah, it's slim pickings out there for us COVID adverse ladies.
Fact. I know in the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, okay, let's see. I'm at home. They're at home. We have nothing to do but to get to know each other, right? So that takes out, especially for the ladies, it takes out the whole physical parts of getting together.
Right.
It takes out the whole, like, you think I'm scamming you for a date type something. Nobody's ever said that to me, but it's a thought. So, it was like, okay, we can get to know each other. But now I'm like, even on any dating site, you're like, all right, hey, how are you? How's it going? What are you doing? You're not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. Why? Everything is shut down. So it's definitely weird out here. It's hard for the singles. So, during this season, or it actually not even specifically for the pandemic, but what is the craziest thing you've done for attention for someone you're interested in? What is the craziest thing?
I bought myself a pizza.
Wait, what?
I said I bought myself a pizza. So I'm very interested in myself. So.
Okay. Self-love. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
That's
that.
the good thing I think about COVID right now is that, or like over the last year and a half or so, is that even if you are single, like it's been such a great time for reflection and introspection and really learning to like be cool with your relationship with yourself if there's like no one else in the picture right now.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, treat yourself.
I hear that.
Yourself. Anybody else? What is the craziest thing you've done to get the attention of somebody?
I would not say craziest thing, because there's plenty of things I could do to get his attention. But so our first year anniversary was during the pandemic, and I was like, what the heck are we gonna do? We can't go out and celebrate. what the heck are we gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm very creative mentally, so it's like all up here, and then when I try to, do it, it's just like, nah. But I was actually very successful, and I did like a date night at home.
Mm-hmm.
So not to say like to
Aw.
get his attention, but we kind of kept that to keep that like that spiciness in the relationship, that excitement. That was our first year, and we couldn't do anything. So I just made a day night at home. I got a couple drinks, had a little Scrabble. We did Jenga.
Yeah.
I did dinner at home. It was pretty dope, but I did it all at home, and yeah, it was pretty fun.
Okay. So we got date nights. We got treating ourselves. DeSavian, what is the craziest thing you've done to get somebody's attention?
Oh Lord. Well, one time, I was at a park and uh, I was drinking definitely, and I remember I forgot where I was. Was I in LA or was I in Chicago? I can't remember. Either one.
It was recent.
And huh?
So this was recent.
This was recent. And I saw someone staring at me, and then so like walked across the parking lot staring at me, then came back and was staring at me. So then I was like, so then I just yelled across the parking lot, I said, "Are you gonna stare? Or are you just gonna speak?" Because I stared back, and it worked. Thank God it worked. But I think that was probably the craziest thing I've ever done. I was very, very aggressive and very bold, but it worked. It worked.
What?
I mean,
Right.
we're friends
The
today.
gravitas.
Oh, you're friends to this day. So why did that not take off if you were that bold?
I think right now I'm just in the space of like I just want to get to know people and like really like understand who you are, because I think in the past like I can move very fast, especially like when I'm very interested in somebody. I can move very fast. Like I'm like planning dates. I'm trying to get to know you. Da 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 da. Da. Right now I'm in a space where I want to take my time. So not to say that it's not in the works, but not to say that we're going to take off either. So we don't know.
Okay. Listen, Courtney said the craziest thing she's done is follow them on social media. Saying it out loud makes it creepy. But then she follows with and liking their pictures, the 10 pics at one time thing. Never again. Have y'all ever done that? Like that's a thing. Like when you show interest on social media, you tend to like more than one picture to say like, "Hey, I see you, seeing me see you."
Can I say I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that.
Why?
I feel like when I feel like that's childish a little bit. In my opinion, I feel like it's childish. Like I'm just like speak up. Like I would speak up. Like if I like you,
We know you would.
I'm gonna go straight to your DMs and I'm like, "Hey yo, I think you cute," or like, "Hey yo, I think you beautiful." Like I don't think that like I'm gonna. If I do the like thing, I mean, I did it in college, and then after a while, I was like, this is kind of childish. Like, I'm like, why are we just liking each other? Like, literally one time, where did she go? She went to UT Knox. I think she went to UT Knox, and like, I remember she liked my pictures. I liked some of her pictures back. She liked some more of my pictures. I liked some more of her pictures, and then like,
So
I was
y'all
like,
just
okay.
running up each other's likes. That was about it.
Literally,
For sure.
and I was like, and so I remember her friend Stephanie, the one that like gave her my social media. She said she's interested in you. I was like, I know. And then she was like, so are you gonna speak up? I was like, well, I gotta speak first. And so she was just like,
So that pride.
it was my pride, but like I felt like if you're gonna like my pictures first and you're interested, like just speak. Like I'm not a monster. I'm a human. Like so I eventually spoke up though.
Okay, so shout out to speaking up. Justin said the craziest thing he has done is try to mentally will them to notice me without me actually doing anything in real life. Introvert problems. That is a legit. That's a thing though. Whether you're an introvert or extrovert, it's hard putting yourself out there. Like you got to put yourself out there and hope that somebody is going to catch that. You know what I mean? So, Justin, you're not alone. It'd be that way. Courtney said, "You don't hear me thinking about you." That's exactly what that is.
I
So,
agree. I think maybe I probably wouldn't use the word childish, but I do agree. Like, how do you expect someone to just answer or know exactly what you mean just by them liking your picture?
I can see that.
So
And
I gotta agree with the speak up part.
I agree. And I think now that we're getting older, I think it's definitely a matter of speak up because listen, I'm trying to get married and have kids. I'm gonna speak up because it takes a certain time that I may not have. You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
It's a thing.
For sure.
Yeah. So, hot girl, city girl, thotty hottie, all the above summer is officially coming to a close. How many of you guys are looking forward to cuffing season, or except for Jazz, because you're fully married, but like, or are you staying? Are you not being a part of this draft? Like, are we entering in cuffing season? Or are we going to skip the draft?
I'm sorry. What is cuffing season?
Okay, so there is
I'm the
something,
oldest millennial in
okay,
this chat.
and
Thanks.
that's okay. That's okay. So there is the hot girl summer, right? And that's just
Sure,
you out
sure.
doing your thing, living your
Yeah,
life,
yeah.
you looking good,
Sure.
feeling good, like all of that, right? You're brunching, you're doing the most. And then there
Right.
is cuffing season. That's the Netflix and chill
Okay.
season. That's when most people
Oh.
decide, like, all right, it's getting cold. Let me chill a little bit. Let me call that guy up, call that girl up, and we're cuffed for the season until it gets warm again.
Oh, I see.
At least that's the
So it's a
expectation of it.
temporary situation.
I mean, that just like Jasmine said, that is the expectation, and just
Okay.
hopefully, you have enough of a
Strong hope.
connection during that cuffing season to stay cuffed during hot girl summer.
Okay. Well, I am not prepared for this at all. I
Listen,
did not even know it was a thing. So
and this
the
is
girl is
why
not
we are
prepared.
here at Lady T. Let's talk about it because we got to educate the people.
Yeah, I'm gonna need like some sort of checklist or something to get myself prepared. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll talk about that after. Okay, offline.
we can talk about it offline. Miles says we love Savannah. Courtney also
Thank
says
you.
yes, we
Likewise.
are in the drafting phase right now. So, DeSavian, for the guys, okay, because the girls need to know. For the guys, you drafting or you cuffing? Like, what are we? For the guys, what are we doing?
Oh, I mean, I'm one guy in a million. So let's put that out there real quick. 'Cause I don't want to like speak too soon for all guys, but I want to say like definitely like I'm in the drafting phase. Like I'm not really at the cupping stage yet. It ain't really cold. It's still kind of warm outside. You still kind of want to get your feet wet. So you still want to see what options. I mean, for me personally, I want to see what options I have out there. Like I'm not necessarily in the cupping stage yet. Like I ain't, no, not ready for that.
Okay, so he ain't ready for cuffing. We gonna get into that later, maybe the next relationship talk. But Courtney says scouting, drafting, tryouts, preseason, cuffing, playoffs, and championships runs from August 1st through February 14th. That do tend to be when people, they also is when people pop out and you're like, oh, how long you been in this relationship?
Right.
Listen, Courtney says she's trying to let y'all know where we are in life. So,
Courtney,
I appreciate that.
that's a
it's all
lot.
about the education. So, before we go any further though, because we did get some good stuff in, we've never been able to define dating. What do you guys think dating
Mm,
is? the stages of dating. Jasmine, you made it. You made it. Okay.
Yeah.
Once you get a ring, you got, well, not. I don't got a ring.
I would rather hear their definition up top.
Okay.
Because
so save you at the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because you got a good success rate right this second.
For sure.
So, DeSavian, what is dating? What are the stages?
Okay, so I feel like I always ask this question when I'm getting to know somebody because I feel like there's always two different definitions, right? Like some people look at dating as like, if I'm dating you, then that means that like, okay, so some people think that there's talking then dating, and then some people think there's dating and then dating exclusively. I'm a person of dating and dating exclusively. So dating to me is I'm getting to know you. I might be seeing other people at the same time. Um, I'm taking you out on dates. I'm getting to know you. I'm trying to see if we're like maybe a good fit. Maybe we can take it to the next step. So that's how I view dating. Like I think talking and dating are the same thing. Like how are you going to separate talking and dating? I don't get that. That doesn't make sense to me. When people say we're talking and then we're dating, I'm like, so are you not talking when you're on dates or like what? But like, I feel like, when you're dating someone, you're getting to know them, you're understanding who they are, how they respond to things. And in my dating phase, personally, I like to do specific things to see how you're going to respond. Like, that might be a little toxic, but I do things just to see how you're gonna respond. Cause like I don't want anything perfect, and like I know that like so like if you make somebody mad, you want to see how they're gonna respond to you when they're mad. Are they gonna communicate they're mad, or are they gonna be petty when they're mad? And like if you're gonna be petty, I'm not a person who values pettiness because I'm just gonna probably block you. So that's just how I work. But yeah, that's how I work. I'm sorry.
He goes so hard.
I don't have time.
Right, it's hard. So you're intentionally making this person mad to see what they do, and if they're petty about it, then you're gonna block them when you were the one that intentionally made them mad.
Well, hold on. Let me explain. Let me explain that. Hold on. Like the way you worded that. Okay.
Listen, so, like, Courtney done called it toxic.
Okay.
Got the toxic horn.
No, like so. For instance, we'll go on a date, right? And I might say something that like I want to see how you're gonna respond. Like I might say something, and then if I see you get mad, now of course I will apologize if I see it upsets you really bad. But I just want to see how you're gonna respond first. Like are you gonna communicate that like and say like, oh, that's like that kind of hurt my feelings, or like I didn't appreciate that, or like even afterwards, like right, like I do things to like see how you're gonna respond, not to like just start drama. I'm not gonna start anything, but like I might say something like, for instance, just a simple thing like as in like Brandy or Monica. If you say Monica, I might say something slick out of pocket, and I want to see how you respond. It's just like a little test. It is a little toxic, I will admit, but
okay. Toxicity.
It's
self-awareness. Sounds like games.
But I want to see how you're gonna respond.
Okay.
I want to see how you respond to things, because like I feel like part of getting to know somebody is like it's easy to make something look perfect, but I don't want anything perfect. Like I want to see if you get mad at me. I want to see like, are you gonna communicate to me? If I hurt your feelings, are you gonna communicate that? Like if you like me, like how are you showing that? Like I wanna know everything. So like I don't know, like that might not be the best method, but I do like to see, because like I know people can put on a perfect front for like months and then like switch up like this, and I'm like, no, I'm tired of that. So I want to see how you respond to things.
Personally. Okay.
What if you're dating
you need to
them?
marinate on that one. But Savannah, you go ahead. What is dating?
I was just saying, if you're baiting them though, you're like goading them into that response a little bit. Just
definitely.
That's not a natural something. Because I'm gonna be more mad if you make me mad. Right? Like life is gonna bring enough stuff that can exercise your emotions. Jasmine, am I right?
True.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Speaking from experience. Oh yes.
Okay, so it's gonna bring enough experiences to exercise our emotions. But let's go to Savannah. Savannah, what are your stages of dating?
I guess it depends on if it's like casual dating or exclusive dating. I think that needs to be like made clear early on because they're two different things. Um, Sorry, that's my dog. Um, um, for casual dating, I agree with the Sabian. It's a lot of just talking and getting to know each other and like seeing what your vibe is, if it's something you might want to continue. Um, and then generally around a month or so later, I'm like, I have trust issues and you have to go either way. So see you later.
Why? Wait, why do
Um,
they gotta go?
they gotta go. Yeah, that's like, I don't know. I hit like a limit somewhere around 1 month or 2 months, and I'm like, yeah, I can't. You're great, but we probably should end this now.
Why? Are you self sabotaging?
And this is why, like, soon in the next 5 or so years, like, cats will come scratching at my door. But yeah,
So you're gonna
no.
be that cat lady. You're gonna be the cat lady.
Actually, I have dogs, so probably not cats. Like,
So
my
that,
dog might eat them.
listen, we have a YouTube comment, and DeSager said, "You're
Okay.
great, but we should end this now." That's gonna be a thing. Like, it's definitely gonna be a thing. You're great, but we should end this
Yeah,
now. How does that?
it's
But how
a
does that
cat.
work in your mind?
What do you mean? It works for me. I don't know how it works for them.
But then you go back out into the dating pool.
Yeah. And usually I wait a long time before I go back. I'm like, oh, yeah, that was exhausting. Let's wait on that.
But is it that exhausting after a month?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
I think
Wait, let
also
me
I'm
get this
getting
straight.
older. Like
So
I'm
it's when
35 and I'm very
everything's
like
going good.
set in my ways. And I think that has something to do with it.
So, like, do you think, like, because that's a thing, and I think that's a thing that millennials oftentimes do as well, is get set in our ways. So, do you think that
Hmm.
has a part to play in the dating experience?
For sure. For sure. It's because dating and like being in a relationship is about compromise. And if you can't compromise, it's not going to last. And so I guess I just decide early on whether or not I'm willing to compromise with this person. And usually it's
Hmm.
a no.
Okay. Okay. So, Jasmine, now
Okay.
give us your formula.
Okay. My formula may not work for everyone. However, I do agree there are two different types of dating. And if I have to be honest, I feel like the older we are now, we're getting older. There's no such thing as talking. What's talking? You talking to your neighbor? You talking to the mailman? There's no such thing as talking. Are you dating casually? Where you're seeing multiple people, you're going on dates, you're getting to know people, and then you become dating exclusively, and that's when you guys both agree that takes communication. Hey, what are the expectations? Getting
Yeah.
to know. I do agree with Savannah when she said that is the part where you decide, are you going to compromise with this person? And then I also agree with statement where he said, not the part that he sets up the argument, not that much, but definitely you want to see how someone reacts. Can you deal with it? I'm the type of person that I like to debate. It may come across as an
Mm,
argument, but
mm.
then I also like to get past it very fast. Where it's like, okay, I'm mad at you. Can we be friends now? Because I'm trying to be mad at you, and I'm not good with like, no, I want to be mad all day long
Okay.
because I want to get back to us being good. So yeah, that's the part where you should be in the exclusive dating. I don't think you
Okay.
should have to deal with that during the casual dating. If so, cut them off like Savannah said, because that's too much in
Okay.
the casual dating.
So seeing them in, like Courtney said, in all seasons, that comes with exclusive dating and not the casual. Okay, and Savannah did the cut fingers. So okay, but there was some.
Keep in mind when you are trying to see someone in their in all their seasons, I think that's one of the things millennials forget is like we get so tied up, and I guess it's called set in our ways, but we get so tied up in like gotta have it now. It better be good. It better be perfect. Like there are gonna be some rough patches, but if you really, you got to remember why you were intrigued with this person. If you're exclusive, that's why there's such a difference. But if you're exclusively dating, remember why you were intrigued with this person, what made you guys go exclusive. And there may be some rough patches that you can work out, but pay attention to the red flags. So at least give them some time to show you all their seasons and don't be like, oh no, this ain't it. I got to go. I'm out. Because it could be your person. It just could be something that you guys have to work out. You guys have to communicate about, or just some baggage that you got to help unload. Because you would want somebody to help unload your baggage. That's a whole nother topic. Unloading that baggage.
Unloading that baggage is big. And how do you go about unloading that baggage? Because it's a thing. It could be brought into the next season. That could be a part of your season. So what is the pros and cons of dating? Because I think, just like Jasmine said, we are really good to cut something off if it don't look like we want it to look like, how we want it to look like, the quality of what we want it to look like. So what are pros and cons? Are there pros and cons to dating?
The casual dating, I would say definitely. You're especially going from, you go from high school where it's like, oh, this is my boyfriend. And they're like not real relationships. And then you go to college and you're like, oh, we're going to be together forever. And it's just like, girl, you were just a one night stand type of thing or whatever. And then when you're actually intentionally dating, it's like, okay, you're really looking for what you want, but then you get to see other ways. And I think you can also do this in college. So scratch that college comment. But the fact that, you know, you're dating and you're dating around, you're dating different people, you're kind of making like a mental list. But then you don't want to have that standard list where it's like, well, if you don't mark this check mark, no, you got to go. You got to go. So the pros for dating is it's helping you create your list of what you would deal with and what you would want for yourself. Don't go in there with a list. Let your list be made by the people you experience.
I like the come on. Let's go. Let the list define itself.
Yes.
Okay. Savannah, DeSavian, what do y'all think? The pros and the cons. Go ahead, DeSavian.
I think some of the pros are like it's a new experience. I think you getting to know someone, kind of like what I forgot your name already. I am so sorry, but bottom right corner, Jasmine. I knew it was Jasmine. Okay, I knew. I was like, I was questioning. I was like, oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but like she said, like, you know, you're allowing you through those people, you're seeing what you like and what you don't like in a person. Like that comes with every person that you're dating, that you experience. I think that like you get to find out also what you like to do. Like for sometimes, like, you know, when you're dating someone, they might introduce you to something new and you're like, oh, I really like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like you get opened up to new experiences, new things. You know, I think you also learn things about yourself. It's a time of reflection. I think like, you know, and also it teaches you accountability and maturity in a sense too. And I think on the negative side, I think you have to remember that this is a totally new person. This is a person of a different background, different experiences, different family, different values, different morals. So, like, you know, you have to understand that it's going to take patience. It's going to take a lot of understanding. It's going to take a lot of communication, and also understanding what that communication looks like. For instance, you know, let's go back to like if you make a person upset, right? You know, like everybody.
You making the person upset.
Right.
Now, sometimes people make me upset too.
Okay.
Sometimes. Sometimes. So I think when it comes to like when you're upset, I think you have to understand how that person receives communication, and then also checking in about how they felt about how you communicated about that, right? Like I think it's important, not only to address, what went wrong, but also to check in and say, okay, how do you feel about what I said? Did I do that in the right way? Could I have done something better, right? Like could I have said that better? Could I have communicated that better? How do you receive communication, right? Like, some people aren't really confrontational people, so you have to understand that maybe like writing it down and letting them read it and digest it for themselves and then come back to the conversation. I think that those are all different types of things that you need to know when you are getting to know a person. So like I think the negative is just like coming together as one and understanding like how you all receive love, receive information, and want to move forward. I think because like you just come from two different backgrounds, so like you have an understanding of things, and some things that are disrespectful to you might not be disrespectful to them, and some things that are disrespectful to them might not be disrespectful to you. So it just takes a lot of communication and a lot of understanding. And I feel like the negative part is that it's like sometimes you have to really know patience and understand what patience really is.
Yeah, they're gonna exercise the patience. Courtney made a good one. It's a little thick comment, but she gave her pros and cons. She agrees with the whole panel, the same pros, learning what you'll tolerate and what you won't. And the con is that they end up being temporary candidates. And it's exhausting, repetitive, and you give up because it's always something. Savannah, for the singles on the panel, what do you think about that? Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree with that. She exhausting and repetitive is exactly how I would explain it. I also think for me, like a con would be, especially in the beginning, it's like a pro and a con because meeting someone new is exciting and like a little bit mysterious, and you're like figuring out who they are. And like I said before, trying to figure out if you vibe, that part is cool and fun. But then like there's anxiety, especially if you're someone who like deals with anxiety a lot about getting to know someone new,
Yeah.
having to put your trust in someone new. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag in my mind.
It is a mixture, for sure. It's not. This ain't an easy game to play.
Mm-mm.
So, entanglements, right? We're getting to all the hot topics of relationships. Entanglements. So, what would you do if you found yourself in an entanglement?
Like, can we have like a scenario? What kind of entanglement?
Um, what kind of entanglement? I don't know exactly, but uh, Courtney already saying, "Lord have mercy." So first, the entanglement is finding yourself in a relationship that ain't a relationship, that is just a messy situation. Like, let me see. Let's give definition. Entanglement definition. We got to take it to the action or fact of entangling or being entangled. But where is Urban Dictionary? Urban Dictionary will let us know. DeSavian, what would you do if you found yourself a situationship? Y'all together, but y'all aren't. Courtney gave that good definition. But the Urban Dictionary says a romantic or sexual relationship between two people, especially one that is outside. Wait, an affair? Well, it can be an affair, but we're not going to affair. It's just a messy situation. Courtney said, your man who really ain't your man, or your girl who really ain't your girl, but you thought it was. So what would you do if you found yourself in an entanglement?
Well,
Yeah, I would not put up with that.
You're snipping people off at 1 month. Of course you would.
I know. I would just be like, no, thank you. Bye.
Hey, DeSavian, what would you do?
I mean, I've definitely found myself in a couple of those, especially over the past year.
Maybe they were trying to test how mad you would get.
Oh, so we're being petty. So we're being petty now.
I'm
Okay,
just kidding.
No, definitely sometimes when I make them mad, but like I think in all seriousness, like I found myself in a couple of those, and I think it came from me not. So I operate kind of weird. So like if I don't really care about you that much, if I'm not that invested in you, then like it's easy to cut you off, block you, do whatever. I'm like, all right, it don't matter. But like when it comes to like if I really really like you and I've invested a lot in this.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes I get caught up in these because like I feel like I can always fix things with a conversation. Um,
Right.
and maybe gain some clarity on like where we are, where we're headed. If a direction is even, you know, in front of us, right? I think that but in all fairness, like what would I do to your question? I think I always have a conversation. I'm like, okay, so like is this just going to be like friends with benefits? Is this going to be clarity? Like, are we headed in a direction of like dating and like maybe eventually like ending up in a relationship and understanding what that person is? And if they're like telling me stuff like, oh, let's just see where it goes or like da 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 da, I'm like, all right, that's already a telltale sign that like you have no intention on at all on doing anything. You don't have any type of intention. So, in all fairness, I know what I have to do, so I cut them off eventually, but at the beginning, I'm kind of enjoying it because I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna enjoy it for a look. Look, I didn't invested in this, so I'm gonna get something out of it. But like and after a while, I'm gonna let it go.
Okay.
Just
Okay. So my next question to the oh no, you got another thick comment. Courtney says you enjoy the thrill, but in the end, you have to realize your worth and end that mess. Make sure you have friends who can check on you, who can check you and let you know that ain't it. That's facts.
I agree.
Do you? Jasmine agrees. Do you
Yeah,
let, especially in a
because
relationship?
one of the things that I will say is if I were in that situation, we're gonna do a check-in. Let's recheck what you want out of this. Okay, if that ain't matching what I want out of this, we're gonna have to stop. Because while I'm dealing with you, you wasting my time finding the man that is supposed to be with me.
Hello?
So it will be a self-love check. Hey, let me go down and see what's your purpose? Okay, that ain't my purpose. Okay, we're gonna have to stop.
Okay. So you cut things off as well. So that's
Yeah.
a good one that Jasavian said, and Jasmine talked about checking your priorities, checking your intentions. But no. Courtney talked about make sure you have friends who can check you and let you know that ain't it. If you are in a relationship, do you still let your friends check you a little bit? Like, in the sense of, would you vent to a friend in hopes that they would be non-biased? Or are you the type that wants somebody who's biased to be on your side?
I feel
I
like
think a little bit of both. Like, I definitely want my friends to support me, but I also realize that I can get in my own way a lot. So sometimes I need to be checked.
I totally need somebody that is completely the opposite, play devil's advocate every time. Because the way my brain is set up, I am strong-minded, so I kind of pretty much already got my mind made up and what I'm thinking about the situation, and I just need you to probably bring a different perspective. As far as friends, I would probably say friend, not plural, because you just don't need to be telling everybody your business. And then, yeah, that's just not okay.
And then I think you can get too many opinions when you do ask too many friends. You gotta have that close one. Courtney said her friends check her all the darn time, but then she followed it by saying, because self can't check me, she be out of pocket. Is your self check off, guys? Does it need recalibration? What do you think?
I I feel like
What you
I
feel?
feel like you have to be I, I feel like you have to be very careful with that. And the
Okay.
only reason why I say you have to be very careful with friends is because like sometimes people can project their trauma onto you, right? I think that is definitely a thing. And so, like, you have to be very careful on what you're telling your friends, because sometimes what your friends might interpret your significant other, partner, situationship, whatever the case may be, what they interpret it to be might not be what the person actually is intending. So, like, I felt like, the first thing that you do is have that conversation with that person first. But now the question is, like, friends check. Then once you receive your responses, you digest it for yourself. Then you go to a friend. I agree, a friend, not friends. And you see, okay, this is how I view it. This is what was said from both perspectives. And you just kind of want to check your perspective if that's what you want to do. But I think the best course of action is to check it with the person that you're with, because I think you can get so caught up in, like, even as a friend, like, sometimes, like, you can get caught up in, like, just from my experience, this is what I interpret this to be. Or your friend saying, from my experience, like, this is what I interpret this to be. Right. And I think that can be I think it can do it can do more damage sometimes than more good, because, like, you have these thoughts in your head about the person, and the person is caught off guard because they're, it's kind of unfair in a way, because, like, this person is caught off guard. Now, I do think when you sinking low and, like, your friends see you in a very toxic situation, it is very important to speak up and understand what's going on. But I think, also I just say be careful, because, like, projecting is also a thing. But, it just takes you understanding what type of friend you have. Is a person going to be very opinionated, or they're going to try to be as objective as possible about a situation and probe you with questions to gain a full understanding, or just hear your story and be like, you need to cut that so-and-so off. Like, cut them off. Like,
Yeah.
So I think you just have to be very careful about how you approach that.
Absolutely. And I think Miles agrees. He says, also don't let your friends into your relationship all the time because they aren't in it. Sometimes go back to thorough communications with your partner. Jasmine, how big is thorough communication? Like,
very important. So one of the things that I'm actually pretty excited to talk about, me and my husband have developed this thing we call a temperature check. Okay. And so I don't know if I would put that in the dating phase. However, I'm married, so I'll give it to you from the married standpoint. We've developed a thing called temperature check, and we do it every month, but it doesn't have to be like clockwork. If we don't get to it, we don't get to it. But we try to do it every month where, we come together and we have like this safe space where we have rules to it, so we know what to expect, and it kind of holds us accountable, where we are very honest and open with each other with what's going on with you, what's going on with me. How am I doing as a wife to you? How are you doing as a husband to me? Communication is key. Over communication may seem excessive, but it is key. So I think any way that you can find yourself communicating how you feel, what you don't want to do, what you don't like do it. Now, the part about, I think DeSavian spoke on like how they receive it. That's important too. So before we got married, I read this book called The 5 Love Languages. I think people really should try to understand their partner's love language so that they can communicate better with their partner. And they will be more receptive to hearing and understanding what you're saying.
Okay. Big facts. Communication is key, it seems like. So I gotta spice it up a little bit because this has been great. But we're gonna make the panelists and probably the producer a little uncomfortable. Okay? So, in a relationship, in the talking stage, the dating stage, whatever stage you make it to be, if the sex is bad, are you staying or are you leaving? A producer just fell out. Should be back.
Aye.
Pearls have been clutched.
Clutching pearls, catching off guard, LadyT, Courtney does say, get your pearls, all of that. If the sex is bad, are you staying or are you leaving? And then how do you work through that? If the person has, I don't know what you call it for the girls, but I know the girls call it for the guys, LDE, like all that kind of stuff. What do you do? And does anybody know what LDE is?
That went right over my head. So can I get a
little thing energy?
Oh.
The producer fell out again. But if sex is bad, are you staying or leaving? Courtney already just said goodbye, farewell to you, my friend.
Okay.
Oh no!
Does anybody want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Go ahead, Jasmine, because you're talking about good communication. Do you communicate?
Yes. Okay. Listen. So, just like learning someone new, you have to be patient. You have to communicate. Okay. Everyone that, even if they come into the relationship and they've already had sex, everyone doesn't know what you like. So you have to communicate what you like.
Savannah about to pass out too. We about to have 2.
Like, now, as far as size is concerned, that's your own preference. If you need a specific size, that's your own preference. However, if you're just like, well, the motion of the ocean is just like off rhythm, da 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 da. I believe that you can legitimately teach someone how to satisfy you. And I feel like people expect these perfect packages and these perfect people to just come in your life and know exactly how you want your body done. And that's not fair. I think you should definitely teach someone how to love you and how to satisfy you and be open to teaching someone. Now, if they have a rhythm problem, you can teach them that too, but sometimes rhythm doesn't catch on like that. However, I do think that you should be open to teaching someone how to love you and how to treat your body. I don't think that you should just automatically think you need to come in with the whole puzzle together. You know exactly what I need, because that's not true. Somebody could like something different that they've been with in the past, and they may think you like it, and you're like, absolutely no, that's a no for me.
Yeah.
And so I think you should definitely be willing to teach the person if all the other check marks are checked.
Okay, so you take all the other check marks into consideration.
Exactly. Now, if this is somebody that everything is just off, just let it go. Let it go. But if you're like, you're a nice person, yeah.
You gotta do the Savannah cutoff. And in the comments, our producer is actually trending. Everybody is talking about the producer clutching their pearls, passing out, not being okay. But then Courtney added to the conversation and said, I am no teacher. That's not my profession.
But you're a professional of your own body. You know what your body wants and needs. So communicate that to the person that's trying to understand what you want and need.
Okay, DeSavian. For the guys, what do you think?
So, for for me, it's interesting.
Isn't that interesting? Because you giggling. I want to too.
Because I have definitely cut people off for bad sex, but that's if it, like that's what it was. Like, right? Like if that's what it was, like we just had to understand that this is just like a sexual relationship, then like that's what it was. And if it was bad, I'm just like,
that's not what it is no more.
That's not what it is no more. But like if it's somebody that I'm dating and I'm interested in and we're getting to know each other, and like kind of like how Jasmine's touched on it, like if everything else checks off, I'm willing to work with you in sex. I have told people they suck before. I've said it like that. Yeah, I was like, you're bad at sex. I'm sorry. Like I've said it. And I've been completely honest. I'm like, but I don't say it in a very rude way. I was like, well, they was like, so if you ask me how is my sex, I'll be like, and if it's terrible, I will be like, okay, here's what I like and here's what I think we could work on. But that's only if I really, really like you and everything else checks off. If you ask me and you want like a brutal, honest answer, I'm like, this is what you're terrible at and this is what you're good at. But I also offer, I'm like, can I teach you how to do this? Just like I always ask, like, what did I do well? What did I do? What
Okay,
did I do?
so you ask for
And
feedback too, because that's a
I
thing.
do.
Men can be very prideful about that situation. Like I've had a lot of conversations with my guy friends and female friends and stuff like that, and y'all can be real prideful and not think like y'all think that y'all doing the damn thing. Meanwhile, y'all are in the ladies group chats.
Oh, well, you know, as a person who has like a lot of guy and women friends, like I feel like I understand because I've definitely seen a lot of people get talked about, and so that's why I always do a temp check because I don't want to be in the group chats. So
It's a positive reason because positive, negative, you end up in a group chat. Okay.
Yeah. And they talk about you bad.
You do.
I have seen some of my friends talk about dudes bad. When I say so, like you know, I definitely like it is a thing.
Ladies,
of,
we
like,
got a lot to say. You basically gotta like do it for all the ladies, like because the Yelp reviews are real.
They are, and they can be quite cruel. So I think that in all fairness, like I always check in to see how am I doing and like what could I do better. But like kind of like how Jasmine said, like you know you have to communicate what you like and what the other person have to communicate what they like. Like that is very important. Like we're all adults. We've all had sex. Why are we acting like talking about sex is such a taboo topic? Like it is okay to say that like, all right, you didn't really satisfy me like that. Can I teach you how? And like just be open minded to being able to learn. Like I feel like you can't go through a relationship and try to learn a person and not try to learn a person sexually. Like that makes no sense. Like everybody's different. Everybody loves differently. Everybody for instance, like you said, you want to get spicy. Everybody doesn't like hard. Like everybody doesn't like hard, aggressive. Like some people like passionate. Some people like slow. You have to understand what that person is. I'm sorry. Like you said, you want to get spicy.
No. That's real talk. That's real talk. Yeah. It's okay. The producer will come back alive.
And so I could just hear 50 voice right now.
Okay.
But like you know, I definitely do think like you know you have to understand, and then like also like you have to understand that sex is about pleasure. So like that's about both parties being satisfied. Like I think a lot of guys, especially starting off, we are very selfish. Okay. We are very selfish. But it took me learning like how can I best satisfy you? Like I'm a pleaser. So like, you know, if anything, I want you to be pleased more than I will. I'll be okay. Like, but I don't want you to leave and be like, you know, this is terrible. Right? So like, you know, if anything,
your Yelp reviews up. Like
yeah, so like, you know, I want my 4-star and up rating. Like I don't want no 2.5 or 1.5. I don't want that.
You say you want 4 stars out of 5?
4 stars are up. I want 5, but at 4, I'll settle for a 4 because that means I got room for improvement.
That seems fair.
So yeah, I think you like you know you have to be, but you like in all fairness, like you have to be very mature and an adult about the situation and say like you know, hey, like this is what I like, this is what I don't like. Can you do this and communicate during sex? Like communicate that. Like people act like that's weird, but that's not weird. Like communicate during sex. Like if something hurts or if something is not going right, then you need to say something, speak up, like you know, like because like how can a person do different if they don't know to do this? You know what I mean? So like you know, that's what I say.
Absolutely. Courtney said you don't want to be put on a pip.
Oh
God. What is the pip? The performance improvement plan. A lot of that's like in the workforce when you're not doing well, you put on a performance improvement plan. It's a thing. So, in wrapping this up, to the ladies, and I always gotta kind of end like this. To the ladies, what is a rumor, a untruth? What is something that you want to kind of debunk? That you want to kill the rumor on the ladies' side?
Wait, I didn't get to answer the sex question.
Oh, go ahead. Go and get your sex answer. got a kick out.
Imagining the producer right now is slaying me, and that's why I keep laughing.
We can't see you laughing. Where'd you go?
You can't see me?
No.
Oh no.
We lost you. It's okay.
I've been lost. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you though.
Okay.
So
as
get
long
you.
as you can hear me.
That is true. Get you, because we don't want to see how red you may be right now.
Right. I was just going to say that I completely agree with Jasmine. There definitely is like a period of learning, sometimes a bit of a curve, no pun intended. Can be. But there is ways to fix things. And communication is definitely the biggest factor here. As far as size goes, like Jasmine said, to each their own, but I don't think that should be a hindrance. Rhythm, put your metronome on. That might help with that.
Metronome on. Wait. Get you a metronome.
Oh, God. I can hear it. Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
Jasmine done passed out.
But my final thought is that there also has to be some chemistry. And after you've had conversations, after you've shown them what you're looking for, if it still doesn't come together, you got to cut them out. Cut them out.
Cut them out. We're back to Savannah's cut fingers if they can't get it right. So the chemistry has to be there, but get you a metronome for the timing. Yes. And for those who don't know what the metronome is, that's the little timing thing for click.
Helping
click.
you keep the beat there. Yeah.
Keep the beats. Kia said, Courtney definitely said she got 2 whole receipts, so her body works fine.
Love that.
Miles said, again, we love Savannah. It's the visual of it all. And you guys do hear that Justin and 50 are not good in the back. So Savannah, your claps done stress LaCourtney out.
Sorry, producers.
It's okay, because here at LadyT, let's talk about it. We gets into it. So, in the wrap-up question to the ladies, what is a myth with relationships that you want to break down for the people that you just think that ain't really true? Is there any myths that you think?
I think we pretty much covered them.
Okay.
Like teaching. It's okay.
Also stereotypes. Is there any? So are there any lady stereotypes with relationships that you wanna break down?
I would really have to give that thought. But to answer the question, the original question, it really is okay to teach someone how to love you and how to satisfy you. As long as you're in okay with that person and all other aspects, it's okay to be able to teach somebody. When I first was dating Jamel, I was just like, I'm not supposed to be teaching nobody, but then that's just not realistic. You have to understand everyone in the world is different. Whoever he associated with before is not like me. So please get that out of everyone's head. It's okay to teach somebody. And it's okay to be teachable. We ain't all perfect.
Yeah, that is true. DeSavian, for the guys, is there a myth or stereotype within relationships that you would want to break down or to debunk?
If there was one thing that I could debunk about for the guys, I feel like we can move past the conversation of men aren't worth a dime. I think we can go into the thing that men don't care. I think that we can debunk that because men actually do care. We have our own group chats as well. We all have we go and we complain and we vent. And if you gotta go complain, if you gotta go vent, if you gotta go say something, you care, right? I think the hardest part is finding that balance because sometimes you can come off as if you I know from personal experience, like I think talking from my personal experience, like I had a hard time expressing how I felt, or like when something was wrong, or like da 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 da, because like I didn't want to be looked at as like I'm nagging, I'm weak, I'm a crybaby, I'm sensitive, all that other stuff. But also then I had to learn how to communicate, like what was wrong. And I think I think the struggle is like sometimes like in a heat of an argument, sometimes I feel like women occasionally, not all, not generalizing, can like sometimes be like, why you sound like a B word, or like why you complaining, or like why you acting like this, like and so I think the hard part is like finding the balance between communicating without making us look like we're weak, or like we're sensitive, or we're crybabies, like, but we're actually trying to make something work. And so I think like finding that, like I just debunking the notion that men do not care and that we don't have emotions in a relationship, because that is most definitely false. I just think that like you have to understand that that is a learning process, because you like I think we talked about this before, like you have to unlearn that like speaking up and saying what's wrong and talking about your emotions is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of you're trying to make something work. So, and put in that effort. So, I think just have to understand it. But like, if that's one thing I can, well, that would be.
Absolutely. That's a big one. So, we are going to be wrapping it up. I want to thank all of my panelists for being a part of this relationship talk. As you guys know, relationships, it's a lot, okay? And there's no right formula for it. There's no right answers. There's no exact way to do it. But we're going to have the conversation, because I think that's what needs to be had between the men, women, and everything in between. My name is Lady T. You guys can follow me on all of my social media platforms, on Facebook at Tandela Lomax, or Tandela Lady T Lomax, on Instagram at Lady T with 3 underscores, and that's LadyYYT 3 underscores, and also on my YouTube channel, Lady T Lomax as well. My name is Lady T. Thank you for coming to my relationship talk. I'm Lady T. We out.